Tavern Talk is a visual novel in which you play as an innkeeper. It's kind of a cool idea. You have adventurers coming into the tavern, you serve them drinks, they tell you their stories, tell you about the different quests that they've been on, and you get to know a little bit more about their life. While they're talking to you, you also pick up clues as to what's going on in the world around you, since you never leave the tavern. You take the little bits of information that they give you, and you can combine those into quests, which they'll wander off and complete, and then come back and tell you what happened. That is actually the one downside to all of this, is you don't get to really see what happens in the game. You only get to hear about it, or in this case, read about it from the different adventures that you meet along the way. The story kind of goes on for a pretty long time. I like most of the characters and the side stories in the game. The gameplay mechanics are fun. I don't really like the ending all that much, and a lot of it has to do with you being the innkeeper and not being able to leave and actually see what happens. Tavern Talk has an overarching story that's dealing with your traditional end-of-the-world scenario. In the first act, I believe there are stars falling from the sky, then you have a catastrophic flood, and it all comes up to some evil necromancer who's trying to destroy the world, and yeah, it's all because he's pissed off about his friends dying. And it all has to tie back into your character, the innkeeper, who was an adventurer at one point, but retired and now just serves drinks for a living. Reading what a lot of the other characters said, and also reading about kind of the main storyline, it made me want to leave the tavern so bad and just see what's happening in this world, but that was just not gonna happen. So yeah, that's probably the one spot that I don't like, is that you're stuck in the tavern. But what I do like is just the dialogue with the different characters. There are kind of some wink and nods to this being a video game. There's some stuff in here that's pretty funny. It makes you feel like everybody knows that you're a non-player controlled character, and they're all being controlled by someone else. That's kind of the feeling I got while I was going through this. It's pretty cool. I do like it, but I kind of wish this wasn't a visual novel. I wish it was something else, because the story is really good, and it doesn't feel like it should be in this format. It feels like it should be a more traditional RPG instead of something like this. It is pretty cool to watch how the different characters change as the game goes on. You start out with Fable, and she's very quiet and reserved, and by the end of it, she's like all badass and ready to go forward and take care of this like bad guy who's trying to kill everybody. And then you have other characters who kind of change from being who they were to something else. They don't want to get involved, and then they eventually do want to get involved. It's kind of cool to watch all these different characters change. It's a fun story, but yeah, I think it's a little long for a visual novel, and I really would have rather it be something else than a visual novel. Since this is a visual novel, Tavern Talk has very simple gameplay. Eventually you'll have a few dialogue options, then you'll make drinks, and you'll assemble quests. Things act like very simple puzzles. You'll just have to put the recipe up on the board, and then do your best to follow that recipe. Eventually you'll get some infusions, more drinks that you can make. It's kind of fun to see what you can do in order to satisfy what your customers need. You'll be given some options on just how you want to make a drink, or what drink you want to give them in order to change the way the plot is going to go. I only went through this once, so I'm assuming you'll have different options, and you'll change the story in some way, depending on what you give them. As you listen to the different adventurers that come in, you'll get little bits of information. Some of these can be gathered together in order to form quests. At times, it can be a little hard to figure out what three things need to be put together in order to make a quest, but that's why they have that little helpful help icon that puts little images on there to let you know, hey, these three probably go together, or there is a grouping here that you can make. It's kind of interesting. You don't really have a whole lot of control over what goes on with these because you just make a quest, it goes up on the board, and then at the beginning of the next act or the next scene, someone will take the quest. It's kind of interesting to see just what happens with these, because some of them sound a little bit more involved, and then when the quest goes, I guess, the person will come back and they'll explain what happened to you. That's kind of the unsatisfying part of the gameplay. So back to the drinks really quick. The drinks are made up of 5 attributes, basically. Speed, defense, charisma, and dexterity, and offense. Then you've got your infusions that you can add in. These are citron, honey flower, phoenix chili, fey crystal, frozen pie cones, golden feathers, and thunder sage. These will alter just how things are done, and they also open up a whole bunch of other drinks that you can make. I did not unlock all of them. I only got 15 out of the 18, so yeah, there's always a reason to go back and maybe get more of these. The NPCs will come in and talk to you, and occasionally they'll give you a recipe for a new drink, like hot chocolate, which is always kind of fun. It actually offers a lot of creativity because some drinks will fulfill their kind of needs that they'll tell you. Others will do the same thing, but it won't necessarily be the same one. So you're not making the same drink every time for that person. It's kind of cool to go through this. I don't think I've ever had it where somebody was unhappy with a drink. They all seem to like whatever they get. I love how Tavern Talk looks. The characters look great, the animations in the background are really fun, and the tavern just looks really cool. I love the way everything in here just feels like it's alive. You'll occasionally get like different items that you can put up on the walls, like trophies and everything. That looks really cool. I do like how they bring in another familiar. The stuff in the background even does have little animations and whatnot. It's cool to see how all of this stuff works together. Each character looks really cool. Baya is by far my favorite out of all of them. Her look is really unique to the point where I really wasn't sure what she was supposed to be, and I'm still not. She just kind of looks like this swamp horror. I really like that. It just adds a lot of character to this. It's a nice contrast to just how she actually acts in the game, where she's very kind of nervous and afraid of people at the beginning, and then kind of warms up to everyone else. She also is just way too comfortable with what's going on at the end, where the world's gonna end and she's just sort of like, hi everybody, I made a new friend. It was just, I just love Baya. She is my favorite character in this game. You also get a lot of facial reactions from the characters, which is really kind of cool. Both the back and forth between themselves and when they're interacting with you. And like when you make a stupid choice in the dialogue, they'll just react like, what the hell is wrong with you? It's just a really cool way of doing things. I love the way this game looks. Yeah, there's really not too much to it aside from what you're seeing on the screen. You do have the drink making parts, which is kind of fun, and that's pretty easy to follow. The only thing that I had a problem with was when you were making the different quests. That screen can get just a little bit too busy, and then you end up moving around all the little bits of information that you just haven't used yet. Aside from that, everything looks really cool in this. I love the way just all the characters are. They all look really unique and different. You can't really tell what class they're supposed to be by just looking at them. Also, I just really love Jade's turtle, too. It's just really cool. Turtles are awesome. So I just want to talk about the ending really quick, and I'm not going to give away what happens, but it was just kind of unsatisfying because of the way this game is set up. As a visual novel, you're kind of locked in right behind the bar, serving drinks to at most 4 people. You do meet the villain of the game, which is kind of fun, so it puts a face to the name, and it's a character from the innkeeper's past. That's great, wonderful, and everything. I just wish that you could have seen the final battle in some way, or just gotten more from it than, just them describing what happened to you. I didn't like that part of it. You do get the story told to you, but yeah, I was not really... I really wasn't thrilled with that. It's fine that they tell you what happened. In fact, it's a good thing that you hear about it, but I would have much rather seen it than just kind of read it on the screen. That's just me personally. Maybe you don't care about that and you did enjoy the way they did it. For me, I was just hoping for more than what was there, like a cutscene or something like that, to give you a little bit more of a visual idea of what happened. Tavern Talk is a pretty long visual novel. It's about 10 hours long, and I feel similar to this as I did with, The Letter, which went on for like 20 hours. It's a fun game, but it just goes on for a lot longer than it probably needs to, or at least it felt that way to me. The way this game is set up is you don't really see the ending. It's understandable because of the way all of this is, the whole theme of the game and everything. But that doesn't mean that it's something that I kind of wanted to see or anything like that. That's just my opinion, and it feels a little bit like something is kind of missing from the story by not seeing this final battle that goes on. Up until that point, it is a really fun game. I do like the overall story of it. It's pretty cool. I like that you're given just little bits of information for the main storyline throughout this. That's kind of fun. It's a really cool idea. I like the fact that you're playing as an NPC, or a role that would normally be an NPC. That's just a really fun way of doing it. And there's also a lot of comedy around that in the game, so that's pretty cool as well. Anyway, that's going to wrap things up. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.